In this unit, number 10, we're going to deal with the third conditional, which is, si hubiera estudiado más, habría aprobado. If I had studied more, I would have passed. So this is the structure you have to follow to say this kind of sentences. If, the subject, someone, had, hadn't, and the past participle of a verb. Now, I don't know if you realize this is the past perfect simple of a verb. Yeah, we have already studied this tense. So, if I had studied more, si yo hubiera estudiado más, that's the condition, I would have passed my subject. Okay, and this is the result. So the thing is that we're going to use the third conditional to talk about something that could have happened, but it didn't. Okay? If I had studied more, but I didn't do it. If I had eaten more fruit, but I didn't. If I hadn't woke up so late, but I did. So the thing is that the opposite thing that I'm saying. Okay? Now we're going to do some exercises. Some are from the book and others are, quite original ones. So we're going to start with page 104, exercise number 2. You have to choose the correct word or phrase to make sentences using the third conditional. Well, in this case, this is quite simple for you. Now, if your teacher hadn't explained the third conditional to us, I'd have been confused. Number 2. Would you have looked at the grammar reference at the back of the book if you hadn't understood the third conditional? Number 3. If they hadn't learned English, the holiday in the UK would have been very challenging. Number 4. If you had been in school yesterday, you would have found the lesson about motion capture really interesting. If I hadn't read the blog post about motion capture, I wouldn't have learned about it. And number 6, I would have thought Gollum was wearing makeup if I hadn't heard about motion capture. Page 104, exercise number 3. Now read the text and complete the sentences. So once you have read the text, let's see if you can do this. Now, we wouldn't have been able to see Jade's selfies if she hadn't posted them online. If Jade had been in fashion and music, she wouldn't have taken photos in extreme conditions. Number 3. If Jade hadn't succeeded in getting to the North Pole, she might not have decided to ski to the South Pole. Number 4. If Jade hadn't met Vilborg Anna whatever, she wouldn't have decided to go on this adventure. Number 5. Jade might not have managed to climb Mount whatever at the age of 6 if her father hadn't been a famous climber. I know, they are so difficult names for me to try to say them out loud. If I had gone with Jade to the North Pole, I would have felt very cold. Yeah, I suppose so. If you go to the North Pole, okay, that's the feeling you're gonna have. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay, this is what we've done in class. So it is kind of refreshment review of we've already done. I'm going to tell you a story and you're going to give me some ideas about what is going to happen afterwards, right? So what do you think happened next? Okay, so Sarah had to be at the airport for her flight at 9 a.m., but her alarm didn't go off and she overslept. So she got dressed very quickly, threw everything into her suitcase and ran out of the house. So what do you think happened next? Okay. So when she got to the airport, she realized she had forgotten her passport. What do you think happened next? So she jumped in a taxi and returned home. She grabbed her passport from the coffee table, got in a taxi, and went back to the airport. And then, what happened next? So 1 mile from the airport, the taxi broke down. Gosh, she tried to flag down another, but they were all taken. So what do you think happened next? And so she ran the rest of the way. When she arrived at the airport, what do you think? Yeah, she saw that she had missed her flight. Then she had to pay $500 for another ticket for the next flight. While she was waiting, she went to buy a book, and she was so preoccupied with her difficult morning that she walked out of the shop without paying. So, what happened next? And was arrested by the police. Oh God. The police detained her for 3 hours and she missed her flight again. So I went home and decided never to fly again. Okay. Now, you have to write third conditional sentences referring to the situation that you have got here in the screen. Alright. Now, Sarah had to be at the airport for her flight at 9 a.m., but the alarm didn't go off and she overslept. So, if her alarm had gone off, she wouldn't have overslept. Now, when she got to the airport, she realized she had forgotten her passport. Yep. Okay. So, here's a possible third conditional sentence. If she hadn't left so quickly, she wouldn't have forgotten her passport. That's an example. Oh, taxi broke down. She missed her flight. So, if the taxi hadn't broken down, she wouldn't have missed her flight. Now, she had to pay $500, okay? And while she was waiting, she went to buy a book, but she forgot to pay for it. So, if she hadn't have to wait, she wouldn't have gone to buy a book. That's a possible third conditional. Maybe you have thought about another thing. And the last one, if she had paid the book, she wouldn't have been arrested. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is an extra exercise I've got for you. It is kind of a tip. So for each situation, write a sentence beginning with if. And I suppose you guess it is third conditional sentence. So number one, I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat anything. If I had been hungry, I would have eaten something. Right? Ready? So the accident happened because the road was icy. If the road hadn't been icy, the accident wouldn't have happened. Number three, I didn't know that Joe had to get up early, so I didn't wake him up. If I had known that he had to get up early, I would have waken him up. Now, unfortunately, I lost my phone, so I couldn't call you. If I hadn't lost my phone, I would have called you. Are you sure? I don't know. Okay, number five. Karen wasn't injured in the crash because she was wearing a seatbelt. So if she hadn't worn a seatbelt, she would have been injured for sure. Number 6, you didn't have breakfast. That's why you're hungry now. If you had had breakfast, you wouldn't have been hungry now. And last one, I didn't get a taxi because I didn't have enough money, and if I had had enough money, I have taken a taxi. Okay.